Hey guys, welcome to the James Bond Show. This episode of Goldfinger 5-Minute Quickie Review is brought to you by Phoebe Wallace-Bridge Hairy Armpits. Thank you very much, Phoebe, for being our sponsor. Okay guys, so we got no fears, no limits, and no substitutes here, and I'm Crazy Kajibi. So, doing a Goldfinger review. Goldfinger came out in 1964 on a budget of $3 million. And it grossed $125 million. Now listen, I'm not Boy George here. This is my bowler hat. Okay, fake bowler hat. Really, it's for my Spectre display for Daniel Craig and his skeleton outfit. But today it's going to be for Oddjob. Okay, guys. So Goldfinger. Whoa, where does the Kajibi start? Goldfinger is let's be honest, the definitive James Bond film. This is the one. Dr. No was here, From Russia with Love was here, and boom, Goldfinger came out, and Bond mania was set all across the world. It was crazy. It made an absolute movie star of Sean Connery. He was the biggest thing since Ben-Hur. Okay, so the film starts off with James Bond in one of the best pre-title sequences ever. Shows you how simply and beautifully they can be done. He comes up out of the water, he's wearing a black wetsuit, and he's got like a pigeon on his head, and he comes up out of the water, gets out, jumps up over a wall, kicks a guard in the face, sets up dynamite, blows the crap out of a bunch of heroin flavored bananas or something like that, and then he gets into this really cool fight with this badass wannabe Mexican dude. A little bit of a Bond knowledge tip for you here is the stuntman that played that Mexican, his name is Alf Joint, and Alf Joint showed up on the set that day, and he didn't realize he was going to be doing that fight scene, because the stuntman that was supposed to be doing that fight scene was actually a cat burglar. Not someone that actually burgles cats, because cats don't have money, but a cat burglar who climbs into people's homes. And so Alf Joint had to do that fight scene. Also, another little bit of a tidbit for you is when Bond whacks the heater thing into the bath, Alf Joint really got electrocuted. So the pain you see on his face, and how he didn't die, is an absolute miracle. But the pain you see on his face when he's screaming, that is not fake. That is real pain. But he said to himself in his head, I just got to keep doing this, fight the pain, because they're filming, and he didn't want to, as an old school stuntman, he didn't want to ruin the take. So he gave one heck of a real performance there. Okay, what happens after that? Goldfinger! Yep, Shirley Bassey nearly loses her breath, nearly passes out, belting out an absolute classic Bond track. It's not my favourite, but it is classic, big brassy Bond nonetheless. Nonetheless. Crazy Kajibi! Okay, so Bond goes to Miami, sees Goldfinger's a cheat, hooks up with, well, doesn't hook up, but hangs out with Felix Leiter, and then hooks up with Jill Masterson. And oh my goodness, that scene where Bond walks in, even though he's wearing it looks like a toilet seat cover, and he walks over and he sees Jill Masterson there laying down, and she's looking through the binoculars. Hubba, hubba, hubba. Is that, or is that not, the greatest backside ever put to film? Anyway, Bond hooks up with her. She ends up getting painted gold because you don't mess with Goldfinger. And Oddjob sneaks up behind, whacks Bond, and it is on. Okay, Bond ends up back in London. He's told off by M. Again, played so well by Bernard Lee here. Bond goes off, ends up going off to play golf with Goldfinger. Basically, he's tracking him down and being an absolute pest. Then he ends up chasing Goldfinger over in Switzerland from memory, and goes outside the Goldfinger factory. Then this great scene where he's in this like a classic black outfit and he's got his little blue bag thing on at the back. And what happens next? The famous Goldfinger Aston Martin DB5 chase. And it is a ripper. Now, prior to that, Desmond Llewellyn, in his second Bond film, explains the working gadgets of the DB5. Ejector seat? You're joking. I never joke about my work, 007. Whoa. Desmond Llewellyn steals a film. Now, another little tidbit for you is Guy Hamilton said to Desmond Llewellyn, after the first take, Desmond Llewellyn's like, "Oh, hello, 007. And Guy Hamilton's like, no, this guy doesn't respect your gadgets. Don't be nice to him. So it was Guy Hamilton that set Desmond Llewellyn, on that track of being a grumpy old bugger to Bond and not, getting grumpy with Bond, thinking that Bond doesn't respect his gadgets. So thanks to Guy Hamilton for doing that. Okay, so Bond ends up getting captured after crashing the DB5, and then one of the most classic Bond scenes and Bond lines ever. "Do you expect me to talk?" "No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die." I mean, wow, classic. Gert Frobe as Goldfinger is unbelievable. And equally great with an awesome presence in this film is Harold Sakata as Ojo. But seriously, how come he chucks that friggin' bowler hat, cuts a statue's head off, and then he chucks it at Tilly Masterson, and it just like taps her head? Doesn't even leave like a hickey. Bond left a bigger mark on his neck when he pashed her, I reckon. Did he have a passion? I'm sure he did. Maybe off screen. Connery was passionate everyone. Okay, so film ends up in Fort Knox. Goldfinger wants to rob Fort Knox, and big classic Bond style shootout. The American military are there, and Goldfinger ends up shooting his own people. Bond has a huge fight with Oddjob inside Fort Knox. Bond ends up escaping after an awesome fight with Oddjob, and then Goldfinger ends up being in the plane. They have a fight. Don't want to say too much for people that haven't seen it. The people that have seen it, they know what happens. Okay, to sum this up, Goldfinger is an absolute classic James Bond film. It is the definitive Bond film. If you're going to show someone a James Bond film for the first time, this is the film you do it with. My recommendations are either Goldfinger or GoldenEye. This is the big daddy of this day, and GoldenEye is the big daddy of the more modern day. Those films are like the films you put on to show people what is so great, suave, sophisticated, fun about James Bond films. Connery absolutely cemented himself as James Bond. He's just like, he's like a walking erection. This guy's just walking around like, whoa, whoa. And this is the film where every guy wants to be Bond, and every woman wants to be Bond. Hey, come on. If he can make a lesbian like Pussy Galore go straight, you know that this Bond is on. Okay, guys, how many Kajibi stars do I give it? I give this 5 Kajibi stars out of 5. This is the shizzle. Guys, please comment. Let me know what you think. What do you give? How many Kajibi stars do you give Goldfinger? Please like, please comment, and please subscribe. And share it on your Facebook page. And also, speaking of Facebook, come join us at Real James Bond Fans with Love. We'll see you there soon. Until then, until tomorrow when I do Thunderball, keep on bonding.